Hey Astra Kids, and welcome back. And in today's video, we'll be talking about the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. So firstly, what do you need to interpret this conjunction? What's very important to see this in the D1 Rashi chart, to see this in your natal chart, but also to see this in the D9 Navamsa to check the strength of this conjunction. The final say will also be in the D60 chart. It's very important to also see this in the sign placement. What element is this in, along with the house position. Some things that can change this conjunction are aspects and conjunctions with other planets in the chart. So what does Jupiter represent? Jupiter is a planet of education, of knowledge, of spirituality, religion. It is also our intuition, our ability to dive into scriptures and spiritual knowledge. Jupiter also represents our wealth, our children, and is the husband in a female chart. Saturn represents delays, obstacles, boundaries. It is all about discipline. Saturn rewards us when we put in the time, effort, and persistence. Saturn also is a planet of fear, of sorrow, of losses. And typically at a younger age, we find that Saturn is giving us a lot of obstacles and delays, a lot of important lessons that we have to overcome. Saturn tends to get better with age and maturity, depending upon how it's placed in the chart. So what happens then when Jupiter is conjunct with Saturn? Well, this is a very interesting conjunction because this happens every 20 years, which means it's a very rare conjunction to have in your birth chart. There's definitely going to be a conflict because Jupiter and Saturn are very different from one another. So typically when you have this conjunction, you are very optimistic, but also you can struggle with pessimism at the same time, which can lead to a lot of indecision. You can find yourself stopping and starting things in your life. Definitely with this conjunction, there can be a feeling of courage, of optimism, of seeing the bigger picture, seeing the bigger perspective with this placement and wanting to really go out and achieve your goals and ambitions. But you can also find some doubt in your mind after some time. It can find yourself pulling back on your goals and ambitions. This can also affect your education as well because Saturn again shows delays, obstacles, restrictions, and Jupiter is the planet of education. So some of you may struggle in your education. There may be some breaks, delays, obstacles. Some of you may be coming back to education at a later age with this position sometimes. You want to see again, how is this placed by sign and house? This becomes extremely important. This also can delay childbirth, or there can be issues in relationship to having children sometimes with this conjunction, along with some delays and obstacles that can occur in marriage. Sometimes with this position, because Jupiter rules the husband, you can find yourself attracted to a husband who is very mature, very professional, very ambitious, someone who is well established in life. This can be seen, or someone who is of an older age sometimes even can be seen with this placement. But definitely there can be some issues with long distance relationships, separation issues, seeing eye to eye in the relationship sometimes can be seen. This placement also can attract a lot of wealth into your life as well, but you can also have some struggles with wealth at the same time. Sometimes it can feel like it is a lot of heavy responsibility put on you to manage wealth with this position, which could make you a very generous person as well. Wanting to give away your wealth to help those in need can be seen with this placement. This can give you great financial skills though. Some of you working in fields dealing with wealth, being a financial advisor, dealing with banking can be seen sometimes with this placement. It also can be a great position for lawyers as well because both Saturn and Jupiter are all about the law, all about following the rules, doing what is right. So definitely this can be seen. You could be a judge, a lawyer, you could work in some way in the field of law. This also can give really good judgment as well. You can make really good decisions. Now, again, you can find yourself very indecisive initially with making decisions though because of this back and forth of the optimism of Jupiter and the pessimism, the realism of Saturn. But ultimately, it can give you really good judgment if it is placed well in the chart for sure. Sometimes with this conjunction, it's best to take your time to really thoroughly come to decisions because of this indecision. Sometimes when you are jumping into making decisions impulsively, this is really where you can find a lot of setbacks. Taking the time to really think everything over, making sure you have all of the details can help you in being more confident and self-assured in your decision making. This placement can also make you a very mature individual as well. You can come off as older than your true age very early on in life with this placement because Saturn's definitely going to show you the realistic side of life with this position, and Jupiter all about knowledge. But definitely you have a very mature view on life in general if you have this conjunction. This also can give you some issues in regards to religion or spirituality as well, especially in terms of conventional religion with Jupiter in this conjunction with Saturn. Saturn is all about, again, fear, about those doubtful thoughts. So you can find yourself doubting some of the conventional religious ideologies with this placement, questioning some major things about society and potentially wanting to make changes, wanting to do things differently in this area can be seen sometimes. Definitely, though, this position is going to demand that you're independent, that you're responsible, that you're taking charge of your own life. So definitely being able to make your own choices, to make your own pathway forward with this conjunction becomes extremely important. This placement can be good for travel as well. This could take you into foreign lands, sometimes even early on in life if you have this placement, depending upon where it is in the chart, of course. But Jupiter is the natural ruler of Sagittarius, which is that ninth house of foreign travel, and is also the ruler of the 12th house. And Saturn is also Karaka for the 12th house of foreign lands as well. So you could find yourself traveling with this position also. This ultimately is a placement where you can do a lot of good within society. You can find yourself very interested in wanting to make a change, to do something on a larger scale with this position. So definitely using this to help others, to be generous, to be kind with this position can be very auspicious. You can find a lot of success the more that you're able to give back to those in need. This can make you a very skilled astrologer, teacher, counselor with this position as well, especially if Jupiter is the one that holds the lowest degree, then excellent in terms of providing knowledge or guidance to other people, for sure. If Saturn holds the lowest degree, it can make you a very strict individual. So even in terms of teaching and providing guidance, it can make you very serious in this area. Approaching things in terms of discipline and structure can be seen. This placement also could make you a teacher of history as well, because Saturn rules the past. So you could find an interest in this area also. This conjunction ultimately can also bring a lot of change and transformation into your life, especially when these planets are activated in the chart. So looking at the time of maturity, of returns, of Dasha periods can be very helpful for you with this placement. If you have this placed in a Kendra position of the 1st, 4th, 7th, or 10th house of the chart, then this is going to be very prominent for you. If you have it placed in the 1st house, then definitely you can find yourself wanting to do big things in life, having this enthusiasm, this optimism to go for what you want. But again, this indecision is going to come in when Saturn brings the pessimism, the realistic perspective. You can find yourself doubting and pulling back with this position. So definitely with it in the 1st house, you want to take your time to make decisions, to take it step by step rather than being impulsive and jumping in too quickly with this. But definitely it could give you some great success with this position. If you have it placed in the 4th house of the chart, there can be some disturbances with the home and family. There can be some issues in this area where you may even want to travel to get away from the home environment. But at some point in your life, you will return back home, because definitely there's some things that need to be settled here in the 4th house of the chart. If you have it placed in the 7th house, then you could find yourself potentially having some issues in relationships. There can be multiple relationships happening. There can be some distance in relationships. Long-lasting relationships, though, can be seen, but ultimately you have to take your time to carefully choose a suitable partner with this placement, because definitely there can be some differences in ideas with this placement sometimes. If you have it placed in the 10th house of the chart, this is going to make you very dynamic in your career. You can put a lot of energy and effort into trying to achieve something big in this placement. You have a lot of desires in terms of your status, your wealth, your achievements here in this 10th house. But there also can be a sudden change or transformation that occurs in your career as well. So definitely being prepared for this change can be very helpful for you. If you have it placed in a fire sign, then it can make you a little bit too impulsive about your decision making. And this is definitely going to bring in those issues with indecisiveness, with swinging between optimism and pessimism. If you have it placed in the fire sign, for sure, you could find yourself getting really excited and pushing out into a new direction, but then pulling back and doubting yourself. So definitely with this placement, there's a need to take your time time to do things step by step to make sure you have all of the details so that you are sure in your decision making. This placement, though, could make you very knowledgeable, very wise, which can make you an excellent teacher, counselor, advisor. Definitely, you can be skilled at passing on knowledge to others. If you have it placed in an earth sign, it's going to make you a little bit more grounded with this placement. You're very concerned with your security, with wanting to have material security to make sure that everything is safe with this placement for sure. So this can make you very skilled in terms of dealing with money. This can make you very skilled with business with this placement. You know how to invest properly, how to deal with money, and this could definitely bring you a lot of wealth and abundance, particularly if this is placed well in the chart with no afflictions. This can be very helpful the older you get with this in an earth sign for sure. And even if this is a debilitated Jupiter, this can still be helpful because Saturn is at home in Capricorn. If you have it placed in an air sign, then this could get you into a lot of difficult situations, especially when it comes to how you communicate and interact with others. Sometimes there can be some issues with how you speak, how you communicate. You can get other people upset, get other people's backs up with this placement. There's a need to be cautious sometimes in your communication. This placement also, though, can be a placement that makes you very skillful. In Gemini, it can be very skillful in terms of forms of communication. But again, you want to be cautious about how you're communicating, about the delivery of the communication, because this can get you into a tricky situation. In Libra, it definitely can help in dealing with law. You could be a lawyer, you could be a judge with this position, because Libra is all about fairness. This is where Saturn gets exalted. This placement also could make you an excellent counselor, consultant, anyone who is dealing with other people, even in the business world with this placement, because again, Saturn is all about giving to humanity, and this is where Saturn is exalted here in Libra. If you have it placed in Aquarius, it can give you a lot of great connections, a great network circle that supports you, that gives you many opportunities. But at the same time, because this is a tricky conjunction, you want to be careful about the company that you keep, being very cautious about your friends and associations, making sure that everyone has good intentions with this placement becomes extremely important. If you have it placed in a water sign, definitely it's going to increase your intuition. Jupiter feels extremely happy to be in these water signs. So it gives you great spiritual wisdom, great knowledge. You can make an excellent counselor, teacher, astrologer, advisor with this placement, helping others with your wisdom and knowledge. And this is especially true in the sign of Scorpio and Pisces. If you have it in Cancer, it can give you great abundance, all sorts of conveniences and benefits in life because Jupiter is exalted here. This is an excellent position. At the same time, though, because of that doubting nature of Saturn being in here with this conjunction, you could miss out on some opportunities sometimes. Definitely, it's going to give you a strong relationship with your mother, with your family, with your children as well with this placement also. All of this becomes important to you. Those strong emotional attachments are something that you truly value. If you have it in Scorpio, it's definitely going to give you great knowledge in terms of astrology, mysticism, occult knowledge with this placement. And it gives you great drive, ambition. You're very purposeful with your actions. But there can be some issues with being too secretive, underhanded, doing things behind the scenes. That's something that you definitely want to watch out for. You could get yourself in a very tricky situation. So definitely being honest with all of your moves becomes very important in Scorpio. If you have it in Pisces, again, it can get you into astrology, occult, mysticism, all sorts of spiritual knowledge. It can also get you into yoga, meditation, all sorts of situations of calming, relaxation. And this becomes very important because Pisces is a sign of isolation. So definitely with this conjunction, you need to take some time to yourself. You need to have that alone time for peace of mind because you're very sensitive with this conjunction for sure. So I hope you all enjoyed this. If you like this, don't forget to leave a like. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I will see you all in the next video.